is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com. That's the big website you got to go to. Check it out. You got all kinds of self-directed classes on there, live classes, podcasts, anything that you want. It's all there on ourhealthyhomes.com, where we study the 4 pillars of a healthy home. That, of course, is pillar number 1 is the house, the structure itself. Pillar number 2 is the ecosystem. That's what's going on inside that household. In terms of the products that you're using, no poisons on the floor, please, for the kids to crawl around on.
And pets.
And pets. And the third pillar of the house is your physical body. You got to have some exercise, move your body, and treat it nice. And then the fourth pillar is your emotional and spiritual well-being. All 4 of them are important, because if any one of them is out of whack, what happens?
Train
Sheila?
wreck.
The roof falls down.
It's a
That's
train
what
wreck.
happens. Yeah, it is a train wreck. We're broadcasting from the Healthy Home Mansion studio here in Eagan, Minnesota. ourhealthyhomes.com. Sheila, what you got coming up? You got some big stuff coming up in January. I'm all excited.
Yeah, we had a team meeting last night, and we are dedicating once a month to in-person. We're going back to in-person. I think it's just a needed, necessary
Absolutely.
for the emotional piece
Yep.
of our mental health. And we are going to do a Zoom series on different topics every month.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we have our Detox Your Home Challenge. So if anybody hasn't done the ditch and switch, we are going to run another Detox Your Home Challenge the end of January. And so that consists of you coming to a Zoom. We tell you how it's going to work. It's a Facebook group. We mail you out some of the products to try. And then all we ask is that you come into the Facebook group every day and let us know if you did what you thought of your product for the day. And we give you instructions on what to do, like how to use the product, and answer your questions, and also feed you with tons of articles and information on what these parabens, fragrance, sodium lauryl sulfate, all these chemicals are doing to you, because each year they just keep introducing more and more chemicals, and it's just so unnecessary. You don't need it, right? We just go back to what we had before, all of the prescriptions and plant-based, and that's what God gave us, and that's what we've used before. So our team is big on really teaching you how, because that's where the fall off is. Like, people think it's just an essential oil for a nice smell, but if you really know how deep and wonderful frankincense is and what it can help you with, you're going to be much better informed and be able to make that decision that hopefully is a better decision for you and your family.
And
right?
if you follow the instructions, then you can get to be strong like Senior.
Yes,
Absolutely.
right, exactly. Yes.
Okay.
So our first in-person, January 14th, is 10 a.m. or 7 p.m., and that is a fire cider. We're going to make fire cider. So fire cider is a tonic. You know, if you've ever heard, like,
how come you call it cider? Do you drink it?
Yes.
Oh.
It's a tonic that you drink. So
Okay.
you mix it with lemons and garlic and all the good stuff, right? It's kind of like your great grandma maybe told you to put the potato in a sock on your foot and it would pull out the toxins or whatever if you weren't feeling good.
Right,
It's like,
right.
Okay, it's like one of those
Pull
things.
a sliver out of your toe, out of your foot. Put
Right,
a potato on it.
It's like one of those
It
things.
works.
Yeah, it does. It's like one of those things where, you know, if you just do it, you take like a couple tablespoons a day, and it's really a good homemade tonic to support your immune system. Now, we maybe should have done this in October or November to support the immune system, but you still need it all year round. So you have 2 times to choose from. It's $15 a person. We do a wellness scan. You do a make and take. You make the fire cider. Of course, there's prizes and samples and all sorts of fun things because you know that's what I love to do. We set up the bar for mocktails, and you know, grab your, it's not a friend anymore. Now it's a grab your plus one.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the new lingo.
Can't have any friends.
No, heavens to Betsy. So I love helping people, and it's just a passion after my health crisis to be able to help people feel better. I feel better at 58 than I did in my 30s, and so you can too if you want to, right? That's a big piece of it. So I always like to give a testimonial. And one of my clients, friends, whatever you want to call it, had back issues for years. And went to chiropractors, did all the stuff. It and never really got through it, never got better. She had some car accidents and things like that. But we're going to talk about that emotional pillar of one of the pillars, and ended up that she actually did have a real injury, and through that learned that her back issues were from her emotions with some female relationships in her life.
Mm-hmm.
So once she got through those emotional problems with those people in her life, well, I think she said it's been 8 years and she hasn't had like any back problems whatsoever. There's no restrictions. And so your emotional health really does affect you. And I don't really think people know that it really does.
No, I don't think they understand it.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So I've got a great gal that I consult with my people to help move you past that. And we do emotional release classes. So hopefully we'll be doing something like that soon.
All right. I'm excited to
Yes.
have Lesa on the show. Lesa Koski. What is your podcast?
Doing Divorce Different.
Doing
Oh,
Divorce Different.
DDD.
Check it out. And
Yep.
DDD. We are coming into divorce season as soon as we break through the holidays. You know how people are. They wait until after the holidays, and all of a sudden the wheels come off.
Well, they've also been cooped up,
Yeah.
right? Because winter, and they've been cooped up, and then the wife or maybe the husband has spent too much money,
Mm-hmm.
right, on the holiday, right?
Well, they've been thinking
Adds
about
up.
it, is what it
Yeah,
is. And they
right.
want to, well, let's just get through Christmas.
Yeah,
We won't
right.
tell the kids till after Christmas.
Well, and it actually is true that February is divorce month.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Or
Oh,
you
Yeah,
that's
just-
so
sweet.
sad because
Yes.
it's supposed to be love month.
I know. I know.
That's
You know what? I never
sad.
thought about that.
Super sad.
Okay, so what are the stressors now? Well, first, just kind of give a
yeah.
framework about how
About
your
you.
business came around and how you started doing divorce, because you're an attorney.
I am an attorney, and I turned into a mediator. So, it's something that I always wanted to do ever since I was in law school, and I didn't follow my heart.
Mm.
I kept trying and searching and did some elder law, and along the way, I did some deep soul searching,
Okay.
a lot of praying,
Yep.
and just came to the conclusion I was probably almost 50, and I went, "What am I doing?
Mhm.
I like to help people come to agreements. I want to go back and do that mediation." And I met with attorneys who told me, "You will not be able to do this and only this. You have to practice some sort of law." And
Just
when
because to
somebody
make a
says
living,
that
or-
to you, I don't know if you're like me, but take on the challenge.
well, normally I'm a people pleaser, and so
Yeah,
but
me too.
sometimes if it's in my
Yep,
heart and I
yep.
know, so I just went for it, and ta-da, here I am. It's
How many
all
years
I
later?
do. So this is probably about, I think I started in just doing this in about 2017.
Okay. All right.
And it's so interesting because I've been married for 31 years. And
Way to go.
I feel like I love mediations for any conflict. I mean, you can mediate in any situation. I really believe it. But the people that are coming to me are divorce clients. And I hold their hand through the whole process. We do the paperwork. We do it a better way. It's not easier. And I feel like I'm so in line with you, Sheila, because I want them to have a better life
Mhm.
after they go through this.
Mhm.
I don't want them to get into another bad relationship, and I am a lover of learning. It is my life. And so I'm always studying, so I have questions for you. I'm thinking
got
there's
answers.
probably a lot of people who, after a divorce or during it, are going to need
Mhm.
some emotional
Yes.
support.
Right.
And I do coach on that
Mhm.
as
Mhm.
we go through the sessions. I do help them change their mindsets and see how they do have. I have guests on my podcast, and you brought it up the last time we talked about, living a better life and the things that you need to do that. So I'm in line with you, and I'm just sitting here feeling right at home with this little therapy
We have
dog.
Brisket, the world famous therapy, in the show today, right, honey?
Oh.
She said she heard her name. Yes,
And-
you're beautiful. Yes, you are.
She is, and it makes me feel at home because I work from my barn, which I just
Which
told
is
you.
so cool.
It's amazing. Yeah,
Mhm.
my horses, my donkey, my chickens, my kitties, and my dog.
Nice.
So it is nice.
Hey, welcome back to the program. Thanks for staying with us. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com, coming to you from the Healthy Home Mansion Studios here in Eagan, Minnesota. Ourhealthyhomes.com, 651-775-9194. Give Sheila a ring-a-ling-a-ling.
I actually answer my phone.
She does answer her phone. Give her a ring-a-ling-a-ling. She'll be happy to coach you through, point you in the right direction so that we're not doctors, we're not attorneys. We are just
passionate about helping.
People, and we can steer you in the right direction.
I won't answer my phone at 2 in the morning, though, while I'm sleeping. Just FYI.
Oh, well, what's wrong with you? You should
I
have
know.
an alarm, like electric charger on there.
She's got a boundary.
Okay, boundaries. There you go.
That's it.
Okay, Lesa Koski is on the show, doing divorce differently, Triple D. Stressors.
That sounds like a pull tab, Triple D.
Triple D?
Yeah, it does.
Sounds like a bra size to me.
Not mine.
Not mine.
Okay, so let's talk about stressors.
Yeah.
What are some of the major stressors in your experience that make people, that move people in the direction of think, we can't make it. We've got to go our own directions.
Yep. I think the main one is finances.
No kidding.
Yep, in my work, and I have a different, I have people that are coming to me together, and they want to work on this together. So I don't know if that's true of someone who's fighting it out in divorce, but I know for my clientele, a lot of times it's financial.
What's that
issues.
mean? Financial? What does that mean? Because we'd be divorced if that was true.
Oh
Sheila
gosh,
is
I know.
like a sieve.
I was just gonna say, I'm in trouble if we're talking about this topic.
Oh, I saw you kind of turn around. I'm like, no, you'll stay together.
Yeah.
Thank
You know how to deal with
cash cow. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I do think a lot of time, it's just a stressful thing, right? Money is stressful.
It is.
And if you don't have enough of it and you feel like one person's not pulling their weight or someone loses a job, it has stress and and that's when it leads them down that road to divorce. But I do want you to know that I do what's called marital mediation too. And sometimes I always start with the finances when we start our divorce work.
Right.
Sometimes if you can clear that up and fix it,
they will be together.
They'll be like, oh, well, we don't really need to get divorced. It doesn't happen a lot. I mean, I'd like it to happen a lot more. But so a lot of times that is a really big stressful part.
Okay, wait. If you just get like Keith and I, he just takes the checkbook away when I can't. He just takes it away, and then I know I'm done for a while.
And how do you feel about that?
Great.
So yeah, so then it's okay.
It's fine.
She
it's
feels
fine.
So you
guilty.
prefer that to have him just take care of it?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah,
too.
because he does the bills, and I get it. Are you going to go into her past and how she got here? Because that's usually what you do.
Well, that's what we did that a little bit. She started as an attorney. We've been through all that. You must
what
not
did you
been
do
listening.
before that?
Before I was an attorney?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was, a college kid, and then I got married and had kids.
Okay,
and
all right.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure that. All right, gotcha.
Yeah, I don't really have a big background before that.
Got it. Got it.
Let's get back to stressors. So do you find, because this is what comes to my mind, is that like with the marital counseling, okay, so they're fighting over money.
Yep.
Do you think that fighting over money is just like a focal point? That's what I think. I think that if you love somebody and you're getting along in all other areas, or you're equally yoked, so to speak, and you have the same faith values and the same, that kind of stuff, that the money is something that you'd come together as a team.
Yes.
And say, let's address this issue. If there's something going on over here, though, then it becomes a flashpoint, a reason to have somebody fight.
Yep. And I think what you're saying is so telling, because that's probably why many of the cases where we kind of work through the finances and bring clarity to it still move on to divorce.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's those ones that have that base. And I think when you start working with their finances, it just calms people. It brings them clarity. And so that's what I look to calm people through. I want to help them through this. And that just eases their mind when we sit down and they get to see everything they have. And then they actually have to do a budget and know what they're spending. And then that just can ease their mind. And then we can start moving forward to what's your future? How much do you need moving forward?
Okay, so I will go through with people, and they have a perception that Young Living products and plant-based and all that is much more money than, what they buy at the store, right? But I always say, you bring me your Target, your Walmart receipts, and I will show you where you are just throwing away money. You take the kids to the store, you buy the T-shirt you don't need, you buy the candy you don't need, you buy, are they receptive to, going through the budget? Because, sometimes, it's hard because they like to spend that money.
I think it's the hardest thing that I ask of my clients to do.
I bet.
And no, they don't want to do it.
No,
yeah, absolutely.
they don't.
I mean,
No.
I struggle.
Yeah.
I mean, my husband and I'm like, okay, I got this new app, and it's going to tell us everything, and
right.
it's going to ding everything.
Mhm.
But it's hard work, but it is healing, and it's actually not that hard, right? We've got it in our heads that it's hard, but it's true. Like, be mindful of what you're spending your money on.
Mhm.
What do you really want to spend it on? Something valuable that brings you health, or a T-shirt that you're going to wear
once or twice and throw away.
Right. So it is a really, really difficult thing for me to get my clients to do. But if clients are not looking for spousal maintenance, and they don't have kids, and they have a good, they both have decent incomes, you don't always have to do a budget.
Mhm.
But they probably are doing budgets.
Yes, right, exactly. Yeah.
So I look at divorce as a dissolution of marriage, whatever I call it. I look at that as a new beginning. It's a way for people to start fresh, start over. When you say doing divorce differently, you're talking about not drawing battle lines and going to war.
You're working together.
You're working together. You got married together.
Right.
You obviously loved one another at some point in time.
Yep.
And got along with one another, could talk to one another. So what's that process look like then?
It starts out with me sending information on preparing for our session by getting in the right mindset and having ideas on, what you want, what you're willing to bend on, and just even little tips on if you get like angry in the moment, things you can do, like pushing your hands on the chair, touching your finger, just to kind of get present. So it kind of starts out with some of that foo-foo stuff, just to get them ready. I get all of their information. I put it in the paperwork. And then we go through, we usually start with, like I said, the finances, divide things up so that they can get a realistic look at what this is going to look like. And I want you to know, too, I liked what you were saying, because I do want this to be an opportunity for them. And it's really, really hard for them to see that in the middle of what we're doing.
Yeah,
they're tearing their life apart.
Yep.
They're worried about their kids, which is another big, big worry for people. But it is an opportunity, and it's a time to grow. And if you can do the beautiful work, it's hard, of working together, you're going to save money. You're going to have the integrity that you did this a better way, and you're going to learn how to be in relationship, how to listen, how to communicate, how to work through differences. I mean, it is so impactful that it can change your life for the better. And so many people, when they move out a few years, and I have a lot of people on my podcast that are helping people through it by saying, oh, it's better on this side. It really is, I promise.
Yeah.
And so they turn around and go, oh, I'm so thankful that I did that.
So is there still this thing where somebody stays in the house and then they go get like an apartment or something for the kids, like, so the dad stays in the house with the kids for a week, and then the mom, is it still a thing?
Well, yeah, I don't have a lot of people doing it, because a lot of them don't want to go to the same apartment, to have to share the apartment with the other parent. If they can afford it, they'll have a separate. There are crazy stories about people building onto homes, and one section's where dad lives with his new family, and then one is, and the kids go,
oh, baby.
So they're super focused.
Instead of the mother-in-law apartment, a sandwiched house.
They're one big happy family. I mean, and it works for the kids, which is amazing that they can do all that for the sake of their children, because that does make a difference to have both parents involved.
Wow.
I know.
Right.
I'm thinking you can have both parents involved without having them live on the other side of a 2x4 wall. I'm just saying.
I know.
How many clients are repeats?
Repeats as in this is their second divorce.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, if they've come to you now a second time.
I have not had a repeat.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Oh, that's a good, that's a good point. I've had daughters who come to me. My mom says I have to get my divorce
got
with
it,
you.
got it, got
Okay.
it.
But
Got it.
no, I have not had a repeat. And I'm trying to think, also, I don't think I have a lot of second marriages coming to me.
That was
And
going to be
that's-
my next question.
And those are the higher divorce
Yeah.
rate, as you know,
Yep.
than the first. So, and I don't want that. That's why we work.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we do the work. I give them what they need.
Right. Okay, so when we come back, I want to just kind of keep on plowing through the process here. How many sessions do we normally take, and do you break that up into different topics on the different sessions? I mean, it seems like a pretty big thing to sit down all at once and just kind of plow through it. So we'll come back right after these messages. OurHealthyHomes.com, 651-775-9194. That's the number to call to get all the good information from the lovely and talented Sheila. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to the program. This is Our Healthy Homes,
Okay, there you go. There you
OurHealthyHomes.com.
go.
Mental block there.
Mental block.
651-775-9194. Go to OurHealthyHomes.com. Check it out. Lots of self-directed classes on there, lots of learning opportunities, lots of ways to sign up to get connected with us.
Did you take your MindWise today?
I did take my mind.
Okay, just checking.
We're broadcasting from the Healthy Home Mansion Studio in Eagan, Minnesota. I'm Keith Hittner,
Powerful.
Senior. I don't think I've ever said that on the show. I just start talking, assume that they know who's talking. Here with the lovely and talented Sheila Hittner.
Yeah. Wow.
And
How many
we are-
years have we been doing this? And you just thought
5
of
years. Okay, with Lesa Koski. have to go back and introduce myself. All right. So we're talking about the triple D, divorce done differently, and we're talking about the process going through it all. And it's how many sessions does it take? I mean, how many meetings? When you get that initial information in and you fill out your forms and all that stuff, do you kind of plan it out that, I think I'm going to probably be with these people 4 or 5 times, or how's that work?
It's so dependent on the cadence of the couple.
Yes.
There are some that move.
What a great word, cadence.
Oh,
I got to
thanks.
write that down.
Thank you. And I didn't even take my
MindWise.
supplement. No, but it does depend. I've had some. I love it because I kind of like to move fast sometimes.
Uh-huh.
So I love that, but I get it when some people move a little bit slower.
What's
so
a normal, how many times
yeah,
or sessions
So I
or
would
whatever?
say normally we get done in 2 to 3 months. So that's kind of what I base it on. It can be faster, and the amount of sessions. So if you have kids, we get together. I usually we get through the parenting plan where they feel comfortable about everything that's going to happen with those kids in about an hour.
Mhm.
And then I send the document. They look it over. They let me know if they want to change anything. Then we have our next meeting, which is looking over the finances, and it's a
Okay.
juggling act. Maintenance, child support,
Okay.
their
So the kid
assets.
plan is not financial.
No, we don't talk about finances. And
Okay.
in fact, I do that. I'm doing that for
Intentionally.
people in New York. I
All
have
right.
an online course where you can do your parenting plan to help you parent better together,
Okay.
not dealing with the child support at
Okay.
all.
Okay.
So we deal with that. I would say that the finance piece might take a little bit longer. Sometimes people don't have all the information they need. Those pensions are hard to value. I can help them with all of that. So we might have two, maybe 1 or 2 2-hour sessions to cover that. And then I send the paperwork. I said, look over this, make sure your names are spelled.
right.
Need my secretary because it's your paperwork.
Right.
Right.
And then they make notes, and then we get together again, and that's the process. It's really very simple, and not easy. Like I said, it's hard. It's killer. They cry, they argue, and it's interesting. It's all virtual right now.
Okay.
And in some ways, I do think it's a blessing because they're in their own comfortable spot
Yep.
in this kind of a situation,
Yep.
right?
Right.
When I have a big group of elder law families, I like them all in the same
Yeah.
room because I need to get the feel
Yeah.
for
Right.
everyone.
Verbal clues.
But that one thing that I need to do because everything is virtual is when they get on the call, I say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how stressed out are you feeling? And I am often wrong.
Oh,
So I'm very thankful that I ask them so I can know that they're really shook up or they're not. And always hoping that at the end of it, even though we're drained and we work hard, I'm hoping that there's clarity and they feel at ease. So it's kind of a roller coaster, but that is kind of how it goes.
okay. So what do you do with the people that have, the will and the directives, and they're on top of that and they have that all together? Do you discuss any of that now that they're going to be divorced? Okay, now what does this?
That's a good question.
What does this
It's
look
a
like?
Very good question. Very good question. And that's one of the things that's on my list. So I don't work so much with that piece, but I alert them
Yes.
that you do need to change that. I've got a little podcast
Okay.
from an estate planning attorney
Okay.
who tells you everything you need to do. I have a little sheet that I follow up because it is up to them to take these steps.
It is, right.
I want to be there. I'm there for them. I make sure that everything's gone through, but that is something that they're going to absolutely kind of need to start over.
So
Well, it's a
even though
snake-
you're
it's
an
a snake
attorney,
piece.
you're not going to do that work.
I'm not going to do any legal work because I can't. When I'm acting as a mediator, I'm a neutral person.
So that wouldn't be considered outside the mediation then, the post-divorce estate planning?
I don't do the estate
Okay.
planning. I tell them that you need to
All right.
do an estate plan.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there's so many people that don't even have it in place yet,
I know.
right? And they have how many kids and whatnot. So it kind of
And I
W-
can't make them do that.
No, no.
There are, paragraphs in the paperwork that talk about having life insurance to cover if something happens, if you're paying child support.
Right.
So it covers the life or the, until they're 18 for the
Mhm.
kids. So there's that there, but I can't make them.
You
doing
would
it.
think, we got drinking age. You can't drink till you're 21, but there's no rule on a parent having their situation taken care of.
Their situation.
Well, yeah, like who's their directives and their
Okay.
wills and all.
Yeah.
That's kind of
yeah,
sad when you
yeah.
think about it,
A lot
right?
of things we got rules on that
Yeah.
shouldn't have rules on, and things
Right?
that we
Yeah,
don't have
exactly,
rules on. that we
exactly,
should.
exactly. Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
All right, I'm
Mhm.
curious about this. I want to maybe in the next segment we'll get into the different types of divorce. The gray divorce and
Or
some
the
some of
best
that
story.
kind of a conversation.
You have a story?
No, I want your best
Oh,
story.
my
But-
best story.
But here, yes, me too. But I want to talk about personality type. So as soon as you start out and it seems like these guys are going to be able to work it up, and then all of
Oh,
a sudden
yeah.
one or the other turns out to be as soon as there's a disagreement, then the other one points at him and says he's a narcissist or she's a narcissist. And how do you deal with that?
It's hard. And I will say generally you get the read during the consultation and I might say a quick prayer and go, Lord, if this isn't going to work, take him away.
Mhm.
Because that is hard to work with. But another thing that I did learn early on, I'm this kind of quiet. I want everyone to talk nice to each other. And I
Yeah.
thought I had to tell
We're playing
my
nice.
people, talk nice.
Mhm.
But I learned from a couple that came in, they were so stressed out. They had been working with attorneys and they just wanted to come to an agreement and they were late.
Mm.
They were late to our meeting and
Oh,
I'm like, what's
both.
going on? Yeah, and he said, well, I had to pick her up from jail. She punched me in the nose last night. And I was like, I don't think this is going to work. I don't think this is going to work. And we sat down and they were so dedicated to it. I had to get over that they could swear.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? They did darn good work. And they did come to an agreement and they took it back to the attorneys. And, ooh, that felt good.
Yeah. So you have to get your own mindset out of the way.
I had to get my,
Yes,
oh my
right,
gosh. I
right.
mean, this is the mind that's really been changing is my own. Yes.
That's tell me, how have you grown since you've done this?
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, it's just a big mix of everything. But I started coaching with Self-Made You. And that's how I got my steps to help my clients change their mindset and prepare for a mediation. That's how I've been able to make this business go. Because I had so many underlying issues, which I'm finding a lot of women my age had, like the worthiness and feeling like I deserve this. And so I've just blossomed.
Has it? I don't want to be too
No,
personal,
you're
but
fine.
I'm going to be.
Great.
So, I'm
He
curious
warned
about.
you.
I'm curious about how how it has affected your relationship with your husband.
Yeah, it's such a
Ooh,
good question. And you
ooh,
guys
ooh,
would giggle
ooh,
if
ooh.
you had him in here. He's like, oh
Let's
my
get
gosh.
him in here next time. Let's get him in here
Would
next
you
time.
stop growing? He's like, what? He's like, how have you stayed with me for this long?
Okay.
Because I'm always wanting to
Right.
be better
Yeah.
and grow. But it has been amazing for our relationship because it's teaching me how to have an even better relationship with him and thinking about, it's the people that you're close to that you love that
Mhm.
sometimes you're not the best to.
Oh,
so I'm out
isn't
there,
that the truth?
preaching about how to
Right,
listen to
right,
somebody's, and then I'm
right.
like, what are you doing?
What does he do?
So he works for Thomson Reuters.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
he's a VP of sales.
Okay.
And so yeah, he works from our basement. I work
Okay.
in the barn.
There
Okay.
He
you go.
laughs about how I got the barn.
Yeah,
It's usually
right,
the man cave.
right, yeah,
Yeah,
Nope.
Right,
not in our
right, it's-
situation.
It's a woman cave or whatever they call it
Right.
nowadays.
I don't know.
What do they
It's
call
the barn.
Yeah, it's the barn.
Okay, so
Is there something that you want to share with us that he hasn't asked?
yeah.
That we need to know because we don't know your business. So
Yeah, one thing that I'm really proud of that is somewhat new is an online Minnesota divorce course. And I've had clients go through it. It walks you through. I'm trying to make myself so that I can help more people and it's less expensive. Ultimately, I'm finding are always wanting to work with me, which is fabulous, and I love to work with you.
Mhm.
But if you are a little bit of a do-it-yourselfer, you get everything you need in that course, and you can sit down together and walk through a divorce in Minnesota.
At least do the preliminary work, so that most of that is done, and then come to you with a
I give them
preliminary
an hour.
agreement.
I give them an hour of time too.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Someone's got to write up the paper, right? This is Our Healthy Homes. OurHealthyHomes.com. 651-775-9194. We got one more session. We'll be right back after these messages. Hi, guys. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. This is Our Healthy Homes.
and you're Keith Hittner,
I'm
senior.
Keith Hittner, senior, and we're here with Sheila Hittner, the lovely and talented, and Lesa Koski. We're talking about a divorce. Really, it's part of the fourth pillar of a healthy home, and that is the emotional, spiritual side of things. In one of your podcasts, we were listening to a doctor out of from Iowa, and he was talking about the 5 elements.
Dr. Adam Woods. is
Very
awesome.
good, very
Yes.
good. And I encourage anyone to go to the podcast and listen to it. Where would they find that? Spotify or
Any platform.
All
you
the
can find it.
platforms.
Yep.
But where do they go?
Spotify?
Do divorce
Yeah,
Doing divorce
doing
different.
Yeah,
divorce
okay,
differently.
okay.
Yeah.
Just
For
yeah.
the non-techie
Search.
person over here.
And Dr. the
and
Dr.
he was talking
Adam
about
Woods is
about the individual and how they need to embrace these 5 things in order to stay healthy while going through a divorce, after the divorce, and really any major upset.
Anything. Yep.
Really, it is. And just to summarize them, we were talking about sleep, which is so important,
It
and
is
counseling.
huge.
He said counseling was the number one. Can you speak to that a little bit? Because you said that you did some coaching.
Yeah, and I wanted to say too, I am not a therapist.
No,
and
no.
I always tell my people that I am not. I can coach you.
Okay.
I can help you get your mindset right. I do have a therapist that I work with who's on my podcast a lot too, beside Dr. Adam Woods. But, it's important for people to have someone to talk to because they need to feel heard. And I think therapists are so good at making you feel like you're heard and understood. But what's interesting that I've learned, and I don't know, I'm a little bit afraid to say this, but what I've learned is that sometimes marriage counseling isn't always great, but getting counseling on your own helps you stay together even better because you grow yourself and then come together. So I've heard, this isn't scientific, through the grapevine, that each of you working on yourself is going to help your marriage more than if you tried to do it.
Well, stop to think about it. I mean, if you want to find, what the problem is, most of the time the problem is looking back from the mirror. So if you deal with your own issues, you're better able to get along with other people in the first place. And he made, how amazing, isn't it, Sheila? So if you were looking in the mirror.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Anyhow, so and he's made that same point. Just talk to somebody,
Yes.
but it has to be somebody that isn't going to be a yes person.
Or someone that's going to circle out of control and be like, "Oh yeah,
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 go get
yeah,
him, go
get
get
you,
him,
take
yeah.
you down. Yeah,
Yep.
because because of
Right.
whatever, right?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. So, family.
the F word."
OMG. Like in real estate, family always wants you to cut the commission and
Right,
give them
right.
all the commission and, like all the stuff, right? When you're dealing.
Yes.
Is it kind of the same thing
Yes,
with you?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. In fact, my darling little godchild had to do one for her, and I had to be careful that her ex-husband was very nice about it because obviously she's my godchild.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
I want
right.
to, make sure that you're
You're not
comfortable
biased.
and
Yeah.
you feel like and
Right.
I had him get an attorney to look
Okay.
it over so that
Okay.
he was very represented. But yeah, I did it free.
Yep. Yep. it's,
So-
it's that F word, right? That
yes,
family.
Yes.
Yep.
The scary thing is when they think, "Oh, she's an attorney, so she knows everything,"
Oh,
and so then
yes.
it's like, "I'm sorry, I can find someone, look it up for you, but nope, I'm just focusing on this now."
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, so then I'm still kind of stuck on the process. So you meet with people, you talk about, you get the money thing out of the way, you talk
Yeah.
about the kids, you break down the different components, spousal maintenance, and all of that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Do you ever get halfway through it? It starts out that I want to hear a war story where it starts out. It looked like everything was going swimmingly.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden, a bomb blew up, and it would just turn
Well,
into World War
it's
III.
interesting that you asked that because I have the most darling, they may be my favorite clients, and it's a gray divorce. They are the kindest
Gray.
people.
So
meaning
describe gray divorce.
Gray divorce is the gray hairs.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
older.
So the older is it?
Mhm.
I think. I mean, maybe they're saying 50 or older, but it's the fastest growing area of divorce.
Mhm.
Sad.
Yeah. And this couple, I keep saying to them, "Are you sure you want to get divorced?"
I
you know,
really
I
like
try.
you. Stay together.
Yeah, I know you're so nice. And they sit together,
Oh.
and they go through it, and they're, "Well, I just want to make sure she has everything." And this is the thing that's been so frustrating to them is he has a business. She's a teacher. He wants her to reap the benefits of the business, and she wants to because she
Yes,
feels
right,
like I
right,
helped him, and if he's
right.
going to make $1 million in a year, I want to
Right.
get in.
Yeah,
on-
right.
So they were very simply wanted her to be able to have a piece of this. Well, because I can't represent them and be the attorney for them, I called a big, highfalutin law firm in Minneapolis where I know I graduated with the president of the firm, and I thought, "Oh, this is going to be perfect." I think it's a year later,
Mhm.
and they're like, they're in agreement on what they want to do, but the attorneys,
Yep.
Keep
and I don't want to
muddling it
badmouth.
up.
I
Yeah.
don't want to badmouth attorneys, but I just wish they understood how to work together better because it works.
Yes.
And they know what they want. And so that's holding up them going through their divorce because it's such a mess with just trying to figure out how he can just give her half. So in the future, because there's so many spinning pieces.
My experience with that is that
Take it all and then give her 50 after.
Well-
you take people who are in agreement, like you say,
Mhm.
and they can
Yes.
write down
Yep.
their thoughts
Yep.
in 2 paragraphs, and it comes back from the attorneys at 7 pages.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
I know.
I'm not signing this. I mean, it just doesn't even say what I said.
Well, and I think that's where they're a little bit. And the divorce paperwork, I don't actually do the paperwork.
Okay.
I mean, I put in all their information, but we do it together.
Okay.
And
Then does it go back to attorneys or paralegal
it,
or how?
it often does.
Okay.
I often say you should. It's very inexpensive.
Who
to-
records it with the county? then?
They can on their own.
Okay.
A lot of times they do it on their own because they have everything they need. But a lot of times they just feel more comfortable if they have an attorney file it for them.
Yeah.
And you can pay for an hour of their time and just have them give you, and that just feels safer for
Yeah.
some people. So there's different ways of doing it. Whatever
There's the
your-
next job, somebody. Just be the recorder.
You know what would be amazing is people are looking for someone to just do their paperwork.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
And to not any legal advice,
Right,
not mediate,
right,
just do.
just
And
do the
that's not what
paperwork.
I do. Trust me, that's not what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's you might have a little business extension there.
Maybe. Yeah. If
Yeah.
there was someone that would be interested in doing that, I would love to send business.
There
'cause
you
I've got
go.
people needing
Mhm.
that.
Okay, so talk a little bit then. I want more war stories. So talk a little
Yeah.
bit about this. Some that started that you thought, well, you tell me. What is your greatest success and your greatest failure? What's the thing that makes you most fearful?
Makes me most fearful in life.
Well,
Or
Or-
you mean in my practice?
in your practice, yeah.
Gosh, I feel like I've kind of dealt with my fears
Okay.
a little bit. Like I try to work through those. My I feel accomplished when, like I said, it's not fun,
Mm-hmm.
but my couples, like, we like each other.
Yeah.
And they like me and I like them. I care for both of them. I can see both of their sides. And though we've gone through it and thrown the punches and someone's had an affair and someone's done something else, and it is the weirdest thing. I sit there and I love both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do. I just feel bad. I have empathy for every situation and it's so beautiful. So I don't, honest to God, really know how I got to be this person doing this and only this. It's just kind of amazing,
Mhm.
but it's the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced. It's kind of creative, and you can make your divorce how you want it.
Mhm.
It'll be within the parameters
Mhm.
of the law.
Sure,
Yeah.
of course.
Or I'm going to tell you this isn't under
Yeah.
the law.
Right.
But sometimes I honestly, I had a couple, he didn't want any of her retirement, and I got down to why, and he said, I'm not going to live long. All I do is work. It's what I wanted. And I just wrote a little something in their paperwork. They didn't hire attorneys, and it went through, and she got everything. Now, I'm not saying that's how it works,
Yes.
but I'm
right.
saying it's your divorce. As long as you understand what you're doing, shouldn't you be the ones?
Do you ever have? We always say in real estate that for us, there's the story that we're told, and then there's the real story. And
Like when
sometimes-
somebody's selling, there's the real reason why they're selling, and then there's the other reason why they're
So
selling.
you mean as far as a divorce goes?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so hard to figure out what, and that is my little detective work.
Yeah.
What
oh, yeah.
is
Right.
the issue?
Right.
And there's a really good story. I had this couple who came back in. They had done a divorce with me, and they were having issues. He wanted the kids to go to one school. She wanted them to go to
Oh, yep.
another school. And I sat there with them, and I just kept asking questions. She couldn't drive. She was trying to work, and they wouldn't say that. They just wouldn't say.
Oh.
And he looked at her and he said, "Oh, that's okay. My parents will come and pick them up." And I mean, those are when that little light
Mhm.
shines in. And because
Mhm.
I don't know why we don't tell the truth all the time,
Right.
or
Right.
we
Yeah.
hide what's
Yes.
really wrong. But if you can, and I tend to just spill guts. Spill your guts. Tell me what's really going on, because that's how we're going to get
That's
this
right.
plan done right.
Get it
Yeah.
on
And
the
that's how
table.
you're going to help your kids.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, too. They're the parents.
Yes.
They know their kids.
Do you
Yep.
have Christmas parties where all the past clients come like we do? We have past clients that come.
Well, isn't it
parties
funny?
and
I know
stuff.
it's kind of sad, but I have them on my podcast sometimes.
Oh,
Like,
fun.
I know.
Fun.
So especially the ones. I
Come
don't-
on out to the farm. All right,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah. Right.
I
Right.
know.
Right.
No, not so often. But it is.
Do you stay in touch
Oddly,
with some of them?
Oh yes,
become
and I
friendly
am
with
like
them?
that couple I was telling you
Mhm.
about. They are going to be on my podcast. Going through that.
Oh, that'd be
nightmare.
cool. How do they
Yes.
get a hold of you?
LesaKoski.com. LesaKoski.com.
Okay, we got to head out. I guess we're done for the day. Perfect.
Is that
Keith Hittner, Sr. here with the lovely and talented Sheila Hittner and Lesa Koski.
And Brisket, the world famous
And
therapy
Brisket,
dog.
the world famous therapy dog. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com, 651-775-9194. Give Sheila a ring-a-ling-a-ling. She'll steer you in the right direction. We'll see you.
But when he calls me sugar, I love that man with all my might. Sugar in the morning, sugar in the afternoon. Sugar after dinner, sugar in every room. He says I'm sweet as I can be. When he calls me that name, it does things to me. I tell him, honey, you can